absolutely love about my job is that since I'm a people person, I get to deal with people on a personal level every day. It's nice to be someone's sunshine on a cloudy day. Being that I work in the manufacturing and logistics industry, we have a lot of people that get the lower paying jobs. So oftentimes they're in very hard and tight financial situations when they get to me. A lot of them are depressed. A lot of them are struggling to pay rent. A lot of them are struggling to pay car notes, struggling to buy clothes for their kids for school, in a really needy position. And so they're at their wits' end. And so finally, when they get to me, they've done all they can do, and they're like, "Man, I have to have a job right now." And so I get to be that bearer of good news and tell them, "Yes, we have an opportunity for you if their skills meet and match the skills that we're looking for." In my position, I get a chance to encourage them in my own way, so they always leave refreshed. When someone comes to sit at my desk, not only do I give them a job, but I also have the opportunity to share hope and inspiration with them, because I'm sincerely passionate about people. In this industry, you have to have a genuine love and passionate about helping people. This industry is all about people. It's all about helping. It's all about helping and wanting to see someone do better, wanting to see someone be successful, wanting to see someone get to their next level in life. And I really enjoy that about my job. As I stated before, my job is very target driven. So the hours are sometimes longer, and I have to stay longer to get the job done. It's very rare that I work a regular 8 to 5 day. A lot of times I have to work overtime and stay a little bit over just to make sure that I get the right people in the right places and make sure that I'm hitting my numbers and make sure that I'm reaching my goals and my targets. It can also be stressful at times because I can't control the people that I hire. Everybody that I hire doesn't end up, completing the job successfully. So that can be a little disheartening at times because I can't make them be good employees. I can only coach them and advise them and do the best screening possible. Okay. A few things that I would like to discuss with you as you all will begin to be job seekers in the world are first impressions. Also, before I get to first impressions, if you all were looking to go into the staffing or the recruiting industry, if you want to pursue a career in this industry, I would advise you to do the research on the industry itself and find out how this industry fits your personality. If you're not a person that loves to deal with people, if you're not a person that likes to be in a fast-paced environment, if you're not a person that doesn't like to answer phones and things like that, then this may not be the industry for you. You have to, again, have a passion for people. You have to be able to do many things at one time. You have to be able to be willing to be patient with people, because everybody that you see doesn't have a good attitude. Everybody that you see is not a smiling face. So you have to be able to deal with people on all different levels from all different walks of life. We got some people that come in there with a bad attitude. Some people that come in there with, like I said, depressed, struggling, going through, feeling like their life is over, and I mean literally with tears in their eyes. And then sometimes you get people that come in, they're arrogant, they act like they don't need anything, but they're at my desk and they need a job. So again, you have to be able to be flexible. You have to have a flexible personality and be able to work with many people on many different levels. For employment seekers, again, first impressions always matter, whether it be with a potential employer when they first physically see you, whether it be their first sight of your resume, whether it be or even on your social media page. All these things tell employers a lot more about you without you ever saying a verbal word. So I'd like to start off with dressing to impress. Dress to impress, and you just may impress. Okay, you want to make sure that you're presenting yourself the best way possible. You should look at it as if you're a gift and you're presenting yourself to someone when it comes to looking for a job or looking for someone's help or looking for someone's assistance. You want to make sure that you are that present that is nicely and neatly wrapped, as opposed to the one that's sloppily wrapped. The person that's the receiver, they're going to be more apt to receiving the gift that's nicely wrapped as opposed to the gift that's sloppily wrapped. So you want to make sure that you're that nicely wrapped gift. And it's not about having the best of everything, but it's about presenting yourself the neatest way possible. Being clean, making sure that you have your hygiene, making sure that you brush your teeth, making sure that your fingernails are clean, making sure that your hair is maintained. So those are things that you want to make sure that you're considerate of when it comes to looking for a job, and when a person first sees you. Your resume. Your resume is your picture on paper. So again, a lot of times when it comes to seeking a job, seeking employment, the company that you're applying to, because right now, with the way that this world is and the way that we are transitioning from face-to-face to more electronic and more paper, they may not ever see you. You may not ever have the opportunity for them to see you physically, but your resume will be the representation that you have for yourself. So you want to make sure that when it comes to constructing your resume, that you take your time and you treat it like a masterpiece, that is grammatically correct, that there aren't any incorrect words, that is the best presentation of you possible, where you're articulating your skill, your expertise, and your experience. Today I have brought you an example of a bad resume, and I want to point out a few things on this resume. Now I know a lot of you may not have even had a job yet, so, but again, when you begin to prepare looking for jobs, and even right now some of you have already had your first job, some of you may have done volunteer work, so those are some things that you can put on your resume as well right now as you're in the practice phases. But again, this is a bad resume. Whenever you start out with your resume, you want to make sure that you start out with a good, strong opening statement, a good, strong summary, or a good, strong objective, letting the employer know exactly what it is that you're looking to do, what impact you want to make with the company, what your goals are for this position that you are seeking. Let them know what type of person, what type of employee that they can expect. With this particular resume, we don't have any of that. They started out with authorized to work in the U.S. for any employer. What is that? For a person like me who's looking through 100 resumes a day, when I see something like this is the type of resume that I would immediately go past. And this person could be a really good person. This person could have all the experience and all the skills that we need to fill this job, but this poor representation of their skills and what they've done, their experience, will not even I wouldn't even give them the time of day just because of the way that they represented themselves, the way that they articulated their experience. They didn't. So again, they did not give me a good, strong summary or objective. So that's something that you want to make sure that you look into, how to create a resume. What is a good summary? What is a good objective? Work experience. Now again, I work for an employment agency where we place people in the manufacturing and logistics industry. So the type of jobs that I staff for, manufacturing and logistics, picking, packing, material handling, loaders and unloaders, forklift operators, inventory control specialists, quality auditors, people that work in the manufacturing industry. So these are the type of resumes that I'm looking at. Now, my company, we offer technology, we also offer office and administrative. So my particular branch specializes and focuses on manufacturing and logistics. That's why we're looking at this resume with picker and packer experience on it, okay? So here you see this person, their last job was at Kit Custom Products through another employment agency called Employment Plus. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with the name of this company that they put here? They didn't capitalize it. So that's the first thing, well actually the second thing that my eyes land on, the fact that they don't know when to capitalize a letter. That's why right now your English class is definitely something that's going to play a big role in your success and your ability to effectively and successfully articulate what your experience is when someone is reading something that you've written. Okay, so they did not capitalize the name of the company. Moving on here, they wrote down their responsibilities. When you're creating your resume, you want to make sure that you use bullets, okay? So their job title was picking, packing. So here, packing and putting Johnson & Johnson products on the assembling line, that's incorrect because it should be assembly line. And pack them up in a box with Avenio shampoo and lotion. Does anyone know what Avenio is? Has anyone ever heard of Avenio lotion? Avenio or Aveeno? Exactly, that's incorrect. So I'm looking at like, what is this? First of all, it's lowercase. Second of all, it's misspelled. Thirdly, you got the wrong. You don't have a strong summary or objective. So these are the type of things that employees are looking at. They're looking at how how you present yourself on this paper. And again, this is a terrible resume. No punctuation. Now, with resumes, when it comes to punctuation, you shouldn't even be writing the main sentence that should be on your resume is your summary or your objectives, okay? When it comes to putting your work experience on your resume, normally it's really not in sentence form, it's in bullet form. When you go into, as you're writing your skills or your responsibilities, it shouldn't be in a paragraph form where you wrote down, I picked and packed and put products on the line and assembly line and packed them up in a box. No, you write bullets so the person that's reviewing your resume can look at it easily. So they're catching on to those keywords, because most times they're not going to literally read every single line. They're taking a glance and they want to see everything they need to see as quickly as possible, because we have so many more resumes to look at. As you're presenting yourself, you want to make sure that you are painting the best picture possible and the most accurate picture possible. So the next thing this person put, accomplishments, not applicable. After that, they put skills use, not applicable. Okay, so this again is their opportunity to sell themselves. Your resume is your opportunity to sell yourself. Okay, and so if you're not putting down any accomplishments that you made, then why would I want you? You know, so again, you want to make sure that you are articulating your skills, your accomplishments, your qualities as best as possible, because you may not ever have a chance to meet them before you're face to face. This again is your only representation. As we move on to their second job, they were a packer at Technicolor from 2014 to 2014. In my training, I've been taught how to look at a resume. And one of the things that they call a red flag is when a person doesn't put the month that they worked. So if they just put 2014 to 2014, 2014 to 2014, how long was that? Was that a day? Was that one day? Was that, 1 month? What is 2013? What month in 2013? What month in 2000? What month in 2013? We want to know all of the information. Again, this person has terrible capitalization issues. Every company that they work for, minus this one, they put lowercase letters. So high school, they put high school, none, Central High School. So again, this is a person that will get skipped over. Okay, this person, I would not call this person. And this could be I could be looking for a packer and a picker, but their resume is a terrible representation of themselves, and I'm sure there's about 20 other people who are picker-packers that can present themselves a little bit better, and I'd be more apt to calling that person. Has anyone had a job yet? Has anyone had their first job yet? Anybody worked anywhere? Where have you worked?
I worked on a chicken farm.
A chicken farm? Really? What did you do? What was your job title?
I had to shovel the chicken crap off the side of the road.
Okay, everybody has to do something. Okay, excellent. Anybody else? Cemetery? Oh, you're talking about him? Oh, yeah. So, excellent. Well, I had my first job when I was 15. I had to get a work permit. My first job was at an ice cream company. So, as you all are getting your first jobs, you can begin building your resume. A resume is something that grows with you. As you begin to get more experience, you want to make sure that you're showing your growth. You want to keep it to be about 2 pages. You don't want it to be too lengthy, because a person's not going to want to read all of that. But make sure that you put where you've had your most experience and where you got the most knowledge and expertise in on. And again, you want to make sure that your dates flow. The next thing I want to talk to you about, or does anyone have any questions about resumes before I move on? No questions about resumes? Okay. Should you have any questions about resumes or how to build a resume, Google tells you everything. Just Google resume template, how to build a resume, and look at that. When you're applying for a job, oftentimes your job requires you to have a resume before they screen you, before they give you an opportunity. So when it comes to creating your resume, you want to make sure that you're applying to a job that you can have some type of relative experience, because the experience that you have. Now, not all jobs require that specific experience, but whatever experience that you can pull from what you've done, make sure that you include that in. If you read the job requirement and the job title, if you read the the requirements for that job. Make sure that some of the things that you've done match it, or whatever you've done that matches that job requirement. Make sure that you include that in on your resume. All right. Next thing I'd like to discuss with you today is your attitude. It is your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. That's a quote by Zig Ziglar. Some of you may have heard this before, and I know it to be true. My granddad told me that because of my good attitude that it would get me far in life. And that statement couldn't be any truer. A lot of times just having a good attitude will get you indoors that, you know, maybe your knowledge wouldn't. Your attitude can either open a door for you or close a door for you. So again, you want to make sure that you're on the positive side of things. Positive people are attractive. People like dealing with positive people. People like dealing with people that have good energy. So if you're a person that has a bad attitude and can't ever seem to get it together, and every time you interact with people, you got this funny look on your face, or you got an attitude with them, you talking back, those are the type of things those are unattractive personality traits. And so if you're dealing with something like that, you want to make sure that you address that right now as you're young, so by the time when it really matters and it starts costing you money, you've already made the necessary adjustments. The way that you handle things, the way that you deal with people when you're angry, your demeanor, your body language, those are all things that employers look at. Those are all things that I look at. When people walk in my door to the company that I work for, I immediately know within 7 seconds, you know, what type of person this is based on their attitude. Some people come in with a chip on their shoulder. I'm like, what's wrong? You know, and so being the professional that I am, I have to make sure that I don't get on that level. So I have to make sure that I'm staying professional at all times. So if I see someone who's acting in a negative way and they've got a negative vibe, and I'm like, you know, I'm looking at them like, okay, what's going on with you? I can't go to their level. But I know immediately that I'm not going to deal with them. And I may not say I'm not going to deal with you, I'm not going to hire you, I'm not going to place you on this job. And they could be a qualified person, but because of their negative attitude, because of the way that they presented themselves, that may be the thing that makes me say no, next. So again, you want to make sure that you address that. You always want to be conscious of your attitude. And again, if you find out your attitude is bad, then you want to do your own personal self-check. Do your personal self-check. Don't let someone have to tell you, you have an attitude problem, you can't get it together, I don't want to deal with you. You know what's up with you. You know if you need to make an adjustment or not, so make sure that you do that. Any questions about attitude? Everybody pretty much knows that, right?
Most of them have good attitudes.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Huh?
Is that a question?
No, he's trying to say he got a good attitude.
Oh, you got a good attitude. Excellent. Excellent. Yay. Okay. The next thing I would like to discuss with you is social media. As per Forbes magazine, studies have shown that 92% of companies are using social media for hiring. And that 3 out of 4 hiring managers will check out a candidate's social profile. So use your social media as a tool. Have fun, enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, enjoy your friends, your family. But make sure that you know that someone is always watching. You never know who is watching your social media page. So you want to make sure that you keep it as clean and professional as possible, and keep it in alignment with where you want to go. Okay? And whatever career path you all choose, you have to properly plan and have the proper education. If you plan to fail, then you fail to plan. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. That's the right statement. Remember, the time is of the essence, so you don't want to be one of those people that looks back at their time and regrets the way that they used it. So the time that you have right now, the people that you're meeting right now, make sure that you use your time wisely. Make sure that you're consulting with your advisors, talking with them, about what your future plans are, what you want to do, what you think you want to do, and get that guidance. Make sure you talk to your parents about what you want to do. Don't wait till the last minute. Start right now, because what you do today affects tomorrow. Envision. Create the ideal situation for your future in your mind, and see yourself where you want to be. With me in my position, when I first started out on my job, it was really difficult for me because the requirements and the expectations were so high, and I wasn't used to having to perform at that level. The company that I worked for prior to the company that I work for right now, they did not make us. I did not have to be as accountable as I am right now. We didn't have weekly and daily reports. So it was a little bit easier for me. But when I got to this company, you know, I have reports every day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is getting so hard, and the phone is always ringing, and I always have something going on, and so it was really difficult for me. So in addition to the experience that I had and the education that I had to use my mind to put myself in a place where I was on top of my job. So sometimes you have to be creative with yourself in creating your own success. In my mind, I told myself that I wanted to be the #1 recruiter. I literally, my second day of work, I wrote it down on a piece of paper. I am the #1 recruiter. I am excellent multitasker. I am excellent at doing orientation. I am this. And I wrote down the things that I believed about myself, and I wrote down the things that I wanted to do. And within a year's time, I met all of my goals. It was amazing. By the time I had been there for a year, my 1-year anniversary, I received an email with my company telling me, congratulations, you've been selected to go on a trip to Cancun because of your productivity from last year. And it was amazing to me that I literally had the way that I had to conquer this thing in my mind, and the way that I was able to bring my dreams to pass. So again, you have to have a vision. If you don't have a vision, if you don't know where you want to go, if you haven't created in your mind or seen yourself where you want to be, then that's the first step. Because if you don't know where you're going to go, then you don't have a plan. You won't ever have a plan. So again, make sure that as you're planning your futures, as you're thinking about your futures, catch a vision of yourself. See yourself where you want to be. And then once you see yourself where you want to be, then you'll begin to make the necessary steps to get there. And that pretty much sums up my talk for today. Anybody have any questions about anything that I've said? Let's see. No questions?
What's the starting income?
I started out making $30,000 a year, and that was with bonuses included. Well, actually it was 30,000, and then with bonuses it was 32,000. Let's see. So you just.